What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to tonight's late night agenda. We are live at 10 o'clock because the Belgium-Portugal game didn't go to extra time. Always the fear when you set your streams up during the Euros for 10 o'clock, you think to yourself, right, I'm all good to go, I've got my stories ready, everything good to go, and then the game goes into extra time like it did last night. But Cristiano Ronaldo, Diogo Jota, Bruno Fernandes, and pretty good Portuguese side have just been knocked out of the Euros by Belgium, so congratulations to them. Did look like they may have picked up a couple of injuries though. We'd seen Kevin De Bruyne and Eden Hazard both go off with knocks, and poor old Kevin De Bruyne just can't catch a break with injuries this season, can he? Champions League finally was forced out of. Unfortunately for him tonight, he was forced out of as well, but we'll wait and see what happens on that one. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, how are we? Loads for us to get through tonight. We'll be talking about Kingsley Coman, we will be talking about Shaqiri, we'll be talking more about Mohamed Salah, and lots of other bits and pieces as well. Just reading through a few of your comments very quickly. I'm just going to wait for the chat to fill up a little bit before we really get stuck into tonight's stories. The Netherlands missed VVD so much today, so RSH14, yeah, and full credit to the Czech Republic, by the way, because you know, they went for the jugular. They did. They capitalised on the Dutch being down to 10 men. I do feel that it was a fair red card, by the way, for De Ligt. I think that the referee eventually got to the right decision. But look, how are we, folks? Fraser said, might be only here for 30 minutes since I got school tomorrow. That's all right, buddy. Appreciate you being here anyway. I'll try and get through things as quick as I can. How are we, Clips? Nice to see you in as well. Brendan O'Riordan, Leeds United fans in the chat. LCFC fan, how are you, buddy? Is Firmino staying? That's the first question. I believe so, yeah. I mean, I've seen nothing to suggest that Bobby Firmino could be away this summer. D-Man said, hey Craig, Alisson, Fabinho, Firmino all playing for Brazil tonight. Yes, I did have a little look at that, mate, because you know me, I like a little bet. So I stuck a few quid on Bobby to get a goal, so please do let me know if he does score. I mean, it would be much appreciated. Rather than pay that amount of money to buy Rafinha, or rather pay the amount of money, to buy Rafinha. That's the thing though, Derek. Rafinha isn't available for 30 million quid, nor is he seemingly available this summer, mate. I mean, I don't think you'll find many of us that would disagree with you that Rafinha would be a very good signing. I just don't think 30 million would buy him, nor do I think that Leeds would sell him in this window, man. But, you know, good player. Hey Craig, how are you? I'm good, Leslie, really good. Look, where do we want to start off with tonight, ladies and gentlemen? So we've got news on Shaqiri, we've obviously got news on Kingsley Coman, we've got news on Mohamed Salah, or more a lack of news on Mohamed Salah to be precise. What have we got? Thoughts on Renato Sanchez? He's an unbelievable player, said Abbas. Excuse me, how do we pronounce Abbas Ali? I hope that's okay. Look, yes. I mean, I've said this to you guys before. I've often looked at the Renato Sanchez situation and thought he is primed to go somewhere else, isn't he? And we were talking last night, the four obvious choices for Liverpool in and around the Gini Wijnaldum replacement position are Yves Bissouma, Renato Sanchez, Neuhaus, and who was the other one we were speaking about last night? We're only talking about him last night and I've already forgotten who it is. It wasn't Kingsley Coman, albeit we'll get to him. There was another player. Who was it? I can't remember. Somebody in the chat will bail me out. Any news on Mbappe? Just that he seemingly is very intent on not signing a new deal with PSG from what I've been reading, but nothing for Gravenberch. Yes, that was the other one. Boom, Gravenberch. No, De Paul, by the way, Joshua, Rodrigo De Paul, he's more than likely going to end up at Atletico Madrid for about 30 or 35 million euro. Obviously, he's away with Argentina at Copa America at the minute, but when that's done, boom, I think he'll be an Atleti player by the looks of everything. He's so average, we got to aim higher. Who's this, Scott, mate? I don't know who you're replying to, so if you want to talk about a topic, buddy, you need to whack in the whole sentence, my man. I'm your biggest fan. Oh, immediately I'm thinking Stan. Do you know what I mean? Stan. I wrote your name on the starter cap. You know, all that type of stuff. Thank you, mate. Look, I don't have fans, I've mates. That's the way I like to think about it because I'm just a normal dude. Right, Coman has been linked to United for a few years now. Hard player to sign. Let's talk about Kingsley Coman then. Let's start off the stream with this one. So, I had been kind of saying that I've not really seen anything to back up the Kingsley Coman stuff. You know, his name had been linked to Liverpool for a while. I mean, not a long time, but a recent enough history. And, you know, I've kind of been pouring cold water on it because I didn't really see anything to back up this interest. But today Connor sent me over this to say Florian Plettenberg said Update, Coman, yes, Liverpool are definitely interested in signing him and they are in contact with his management, but right now it's not a hot topic. Bayern still want to extend his deal, especially Julian Nagelsmann, but Kingsley's father forces his departure to the UK, or at least an England flag is what he put in. Look, Kingsley Coman, if you could get Kingsley Coman at 30 million quid, you get yourself a good player. From my, again, not having deeply looked into this, I think I remember him having a few injuries over the years, Kingsley Coman, but very experienced, obviously, with France and with Bayern Munich. And look, you wouldn't say no, would you, at 30 million quid? But that's it wouldn't be my top list of wingers, if I'm being honest with you. If I'm looking at wingers who we could bring in, Kingsley Coman wouldn't be right up the very top of my own personal list. But again, if it's a deal in and around 30 million quid, it ticks a lot of boxes, to be fair. What have we got? Who's the player you want to get rid of? Me, mate. I mean, Shaqiri and Origi, if I'm being honest. Wilson, Grujic will be gotten rid of, although I feel differently around that one. Craig, I downloaded the OneFootball app last week. Thanks for recommending it. My pleasure, dude. Thank you very much. How about Schick? You've definitely got to touch a match of the day fever there, mate. Really do. I mean, Schick's a decent player, but he's not Liverpool calibre. Coman is injury prone, isn't he? Dolores H14. That was my initial thought when I, started to look into it a bit more. Yeah, he has had a few injuries, but as Rodders has said in the chat there, a lot of them have been rather unfortunate injuries, but that doesn't really matter, does it? If you're injured, you're injured. How unfortunate it is doesn't really affect the team that's missing out on you. Origi, I rate him so much. Oh, you said hate him so much. Sorry, Johnny, I read that incorrectly. Maybe I was just trying to see the best in people. Look, on Kingsley Coman, let's monitor the situation. Let's wait and see if a bid is forthcoming or if more details. It seems Bayern Munich want to keep the guy, and Bayern Munich have already lost Thiago to Liverpool. They've recently signed Upamecano, although they have lost David Alaba to Real Madrid. So they won't want a major overhaul this summer. They've got a lot of good players there, good young players at Bayern Munich, and obviously Robert Lewandowski will be somebody who they'll long term be looking to replace. Coman, look, at 30 million, again, it's hard to make an argument against it, isn't it? If that's the price, £30 million for somebody as experienced, that's won as much as he has, it's very difficult for me to sit here and go, nah, don't want them. He'd be a good player. It's just not as exciting as some of the other names that I'd seen, in my own humble opinion. But very good, tactically astute player who I'm sure Klopp could see in a host of positions. And again, could provide some cover to our fullbacks. And now I know you're thinking to me, hang on, Craig, he's not a fullback, he's a winger. I know, but look at the way our system plays. If we wanted to be a little bit more offensive, perhaps you could use him in that role. Is Salah going to the Olympics? Said David O'Connell. Right now, mate, the truth is nobody really knows. Liverpool don't want himself or Canate to go to the Olympics, but Mohamed Salah seems to want to go to the Olympics. But the real issue around Mohamed Salah isn't whether or not he goes to the Olympics. That will be resolved, and we'll know the situation there fairly soon. But the problem for me is that, as has been reported widely, there has been still no contact with Liverpool and Mohamed Salah around the new contract. And he's running into his last 2 years now. And, once he gets to 2 years and we don't sign him and he goes into a new... It might as well be 1 year, because he's going to run down to... You're not going to sell him in the January marker halfway through a season, are you? So I'm very worried about the Mohamed Salah situation. I said it to you before. I think that maybe his future and Mbappe's future are intrinsically linked, even if it's nothing to do with Liverpool signing Mbappe. I just mean if they lose Mbappe, he's pretty high on the list of priorities as a replacement. And... Liverpool have 2 years left on Salah's contract, and why aren't we talking to him about a new one? It should have been one of the top priorities. I find it very, very disrespectful to Mohamed Salah that Liverpool are not busting a gut to go and offer him a new deal and try and tie him down, because either they know something we don't know and something's happening that we don't know about, or something's been made clear to them that perhaps we don't know about. But it's not the summer to start pissing off Liverpool fans even more, John W. Henry. You've already given up Gini Wijnaldum, who we all wanted to keep. And now we're looking down the barrel of Mohamed Salah not being offered a new deal yet, or not being a priority to be offered a new deal. That's just madness. It's just madness. Right, Carrie Bonner with the first super chat of the night. Good evening to the GOAT. Thank you very much. It was Cherky you couldn't think of last night. How's your day going? Vieira from Porto, we're still looking at him. Not really seen too much on Vieira from Porto, but there was the other guy from Porto. What's his name again? Oliveira, is that his name? Or was it another one? There was a guy from Porto who we apparently got interest. I don't think we do have any interest in Porto midfielders, if I'm being honest. I think it's more the Porto side of it, trying to find a way for us to be interested because they want to free up money for Marco Grujic. I think Oliveira is the midfielder they're about to move on, but there's Otavio. Was that the other one? I think it was Otavio or something like that. Again, I don't think it's true, personally, but Pep Linders has great contacts in Portugal, so, you know, if we are interested, you would know that Pep Linders will have done his research and will have been able to supply the scout network with all the right information they need. Sarah Marshall said, hello, I was looking at Mo. He's 29, 2 years on his contract, 31 and 3, a new contract makes him 34. That depends what way you're looking at. You may be adding 3 years onto the end of his current contract, but if we were to give him a new deal now, I'd imagine it'll be a 4-year deal. So I would imagine he would sign till he's 32, which is still quite young in this day and age. I mean, footballers that look after themselves, like Mohamed Salah does, like obviously Cristiano Ronaldo does, and many others are playing into 35, 36, 37. And at some stage, Liverpool are going to have to realise that we can't just offer short-term deals to any player that's heading towards 30. For example, Van Dijk is going to be offered a new deal. He's 29 years of age. He's heading towards 30. I guarantee you that new deal is going to be longer than a 2 or 3 year deal. So to me, I just find it very strange and very disrespectful to somebody that has, you know, always given us all and always done a job for Liverpool. I mean, his numbers speak for themselves. I mean, I never thought I'd be on here talking about a situation where Liverpool are disrespecting Mohamed Salah by not offering him a new deal. It's madness. Peter said Manscaped is life. Thank you, Peter. I mean, appreciate the super chat. I hope you enjoy the Manscaped ad, by the way. If you haven't seen it yet, we will be doing another Manscaped video soon. Has VVD had contact on signing a new deal? So the priority looks like it's Fabinho, Alisson, VVD. That looks like the priority for new contracts right now, which is all sound. But how could you not put Mohamed Salah in that conversation? It's madness. Craig, who do you honestly believe Liverpool will sign? I've said the same thing all along, Keane. I don't know. I mean, I haven't got a clue. I thought there was nothing to the Kingsley Coman stuff, and now there's reports that actually Liverpool seemingly are interested in Kingsley Coman. I just get the feeling that there's probably some truth to the Daniel Malen links. I think, you know, he didn't have a great game today for Holland, or the Netherlands, excuse me. Missed a very good opportunity just before De Ligt was sent off. But I feel like under Klopp, working with the forwards we have at the club, Daniel Malen would prosper. But also Borussia Dortmund are interested in Daniel Malen. So, again, we've got to keep an eye on what's going on there. Coman to replace Salah. I mean, he just won't replace Salah. So, I get where you're coming from, Louis, winger, but Kingsley Coman is not going to put up the type of numbers Mohamed Salah has put up since coming to Liverpool. So, you know, we need to get goals from somewhere. We don't get them from midfield. We don't really get them from wide areas. Our centre-backs don't really score that many. So, you know, we are relying on Mohamed Salah's numbers. Bobby Firmino will pitch in with a few. Sadio Mane will pitch in with a few. Diogo Jota will pitch in with a few. But we need somebody to bang in 25 plus goals a season. And Mohamed Salah is the man that usually stands up and does that. So, I'm baffled. Absolutely baffled and a little bit scared. Although, a part of me, the one thing we'll all give credit to FSG for is their business acumen. I think that's one thing we can all agree on. Whether we think that they do the right or wrong things about transfers, they're not idiots. So, surely to God something is in the works. That's all I can think of. Because I refuse to believe that they're going to allow him to run down his contract when he is worth probably in excess of 100 million quid right now. It would just be stupidity of the highest order. Carrie said, I've gone through so much depression and your video and live streams always help me to get through it. Thank you so much for to keep up the amazing work. Oh, Carrie, thank you. I mean, I'm sorry to hear what you've been through, first and foremost, but, you know, it's not just myself. I think it's the entire community. We all help each other out here, Carrie, and thank you for taking the time to send in such a kind message, and I hope you're well now. Right, Craig, who could we sign to replace Mo? Realistically, there isn't many. I mean, if you're going to replace Mohamed Salah's numbers, you either do one or two things. You go out there right now and you get Kylian Mbappe, which we all think we won't do, and probably rightly so, because it would smash our wage structure. Excuse me. Or you go out there and you sign a ready-made goal scorer, like a Harry Kane or an Erling Haaland. But we all know we won't be doing that either. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'm overthinking this. I don't know if I'm overly concerned around the Mohamed Salah situation for no reason, but I do think it's very disrespectful. Craig, who would you take from Manchester United? Again, I don't really like answering pie in the sky questions, mate. I mean, Rashford. I like Rashford. Greenwood. I like Greenwood. I think Fernandes could definitely do a job at Liverpool in behind our front three. Jeremy Doku's gone quiet, but I would love Jeremy Doku. I've said this before. I mean, it's a great show and somebody who we've got a long-term interest in, and somebody who, again, would probably cost in and around the 30 million mark. So, Jeremy Doku, Tivnik, is a brilliant, brilliant shout. And, you know, when Liverpool go quiet on transfer business, it's usually because something's in the works. So, I fully believe we'll get a couple of bodies through the door. But the big concerns is, are we going to lose somebody big this summer? There was a couple of murmurings that perhaps Mohamed Salah might move on, but if he is going to move on, and I don't know, all I can do is hope that he doesn't, then we'd want to get it done early enough, because we wouldn't want to be in a position where we're scrambling around trying to replace our top goal scorer. Yeah, I'm worried. I'm a little bit worried about it, I've got to be honest. Thoughts on Benitez as Everton manager? I've answered this question so many times now. To me, Rafael Benitez transcends football. I love the man more than I can put into words, I should say. And if he takes the Everton job, so be it. I won't hold that against him. He would have walked over broken glass to come back and take the Liverpool job. He loves the city. He's made charitable donations to the city. His wife and himself have done great work in the city. And if he takes the Everton job, he takes the Everton job. And Everton should count themselves very lucky that they will have had back-to-back Champions League winning managers at their club. I still don't think they'll win anything, but, you know, I won't hold it against Rafa. It's a long time since he's managed the Reds. Our balance is 50 million. That is the biggest load, and this is named at you, mate, because I've seen it elsewhere. That is the biggest load of me arse I've ever seen. No football club is stupid enough to tell anybody what their transfer budget is. It would just be, I don't even want to use the word that I want to use. It would just be absolute stupidity. Would I take Thorgan Hazard? No. I don't do the match of the day stuff where a player scores a very good goal and go, ooh, Thorgan Hazard. Because I have watched enough of Thorgan Hazard, both at Borussia Mönchengladbach and at Borussia Dortmund, to go, he's okay, but he's too inconsistent. Malin would be cool. It would. And again, but all these players are great as long as they're not Mohamed Salah replacements. Because let's be quite frank, in my eyes, if you get rid of Mohamed Salah, there's only one name. There's only one name that can come in and even somewhat come close to Mohamed Salah. And that's somebody who's going to cost us probably 500 or 600 grand a week in wages. You know who I'm talking about. A certain fella whose name rhymes with Schmillian Schmappe. And we all know that that's highly, highly unlikely to happen. Would I take Prime Cavani? Do we have a fucking time machine here to go back and turn the clock back? I mean, who gives a shit? It's like saying, would I take Prime Maradona? It's just a ridiculous question, dude. Braithwaite? No, he's shite. Some of these names are just nuts. I like the idea of Coman and Basuma, said Mario Lanzini. Coman, again, at 30 million, you could see why, but your fear would be it better not be to replace Mohamed Salah. Basuma, the price tag keeps going up. He was my initial instinct when we knew we were letting Gini go. My initial instinct was, well, Basuma is a very, very easy player to slot in there and do what Gini does, but the price tag for him just seems to keep go up and up and up. Suarez is going to stay at Atletico Madrid, Daniel, so he won't be going anywhere. Renato is a workhorse and he can defend. I love the idea of Renato Sanchez. And again, I can see him as the right profile of player that Klopp would look at and go, yep, we could bring him in, we could improve. And yeah, there is no Neuhaus news, Tom. You know, there won't be any news around Neuhaus till after the Euros. And even at that, my gut instinct, and it is just my gut instinct, mate, I really do think he'll end up at Bayern Munich. He's denied it himself, but the German media seem to be very much of the belief that he'll stay at Borussia Mönchengladbach for another year. Mönchengladbach's new coach has said that he believes Neuhaus will stay for another year as well. So if that's the case, probably end up at Bayern Munich. Who do I think will replace Genie? Well, look, if you're to look at the media reports, apparently we're not signing a Genie Wijnaldum replacement. That doesn't mean we're not signing players, but there's a lot of talk of we're not signing a like for like. So, your guess is as good as mine at this rate. But what I will say is, it's not time to start losing our heads yet. The transfer window, yes, it's open and all that jazz soon, but or it's open, I should say, right now. But, you know, a lot of players are away at international tournaments, so I wouldn't overly stress until we get back to pre-season and we start seeing what's what, and we start seeing who we're going to move on. And on that, let me just talk around one player who looks like he could be getting very close to the exit door, and that is Shaqiri, who I know a lot of you guys like. My opinion is that he's not good enough for Liverpool. Worth taking a punt when we signed him. I will not go back on my words. I do think at the price we got him for, it was worth a roll of the dice, but he hasn't been consistent enough, whether it be through injuries or lack of game time. But apparently Lazio are really close, according to Tutto Sportweb, who I believe are Tutto Mercado's online site or whatever. They believe that Lazio are going to sign him. They're also keen on Julian Brandt apparently as well, but I think Shaqiri will be a better, cheaper option for them, and I would imagine we could probably get 10, 12 million quid for Shaqiri. Would you take Coman and Malin for 65 million? No, because we'd be overpaying. Because the prices that are in the media for both are 30 and 25 million. So I think we could probably get a better deal. Would I take the two players? Yes. But just not for the 65 million. My nan's got bunions that you put in there, because I think they could be got for cheaper. Unless that is, of course, euros, in which case you're probably in and around the right ballpark then. Camavinga to United. Don't say that in front of any Arsenal fans, mate. They'll start crying. You're not allowed to say Camavinga to anywhere. Because remember, it's really important that we all remember, Arsenal are signing Camavinga, Maddison, Bissouma, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin this summer. Yeah, they're all going to Arsenal apparently. Oh, it's madness. Is YouTube your full-time job? Not yet, no. Hopefully it will be soon, but not yet. Right, Ivan Toney, he'll stay at Brentford, and he'll stay at Brentford probably for the foreseeable anyway for this season. But Brentford are a really ambitious club that plan on staying in the Premier League. And Ivan Toney, you know, he came up through the divisions, he's earned his way to the Premier League, record goal scorer in the Championship, and look, let's see what he does with Brentford in the Premier League. If Brentford do go back down, I don't think Ivan Toney will drop back down. I think somebody will take a punt on the guy. Would I take Ings back? My heart says yes. My head says no. Now look, he'd end up picking up another injury, and I wouldn't want that for us or Danny Ings, because, you know, we've all had a smile on our face seeing Danny Ings back in goal scoring for Southampton, because he's a really good guy who, you know, deserves to be playing. And I take him back, yes, because Ingsy knows where the net is, and, you know, having him instead of Origi as a potential to come in and replace Firmino or Jota, Mane or Salah, I feel much more comfortable. But, you know, you would always have it at the back of your mind. And I don't like going back really either. I don't like, you know, going back and revisiting players who've already been at clubs. Would I take Jorginho? I would have. I mean, when Jorginho signed for Chelsea in that summer, I was hoping that I won't rewrite history. You can go back and watch our early streams. We spoke about Jorginho when he was at Napoli, and we thought, yeah, we'd have him at Liverpool because he looked like a tidy midfielder. So, I perhaps would have, but not now. I didn't. Someone said I missed the super chat. Did I? Sorry. Carrie said, "Why does Nico want to leave? Too talented and young." And thank you again for the super chat, Carrie. Game time. Game time is all I can imagine, Carrie. I mean, he's looking ahead of him and he's seeing Trent Alexander-Arnold, one of, if not the best right back or attacking right back in Europe, and then going, well, how much game time am I realistically going to get at Liverpool? So I think that's the only reason. And if Liverpool get 10 million from him, I don't think they'll stand in his way. And look, I never want to be snide about anybody that wants to play football, because, you know, careers are short, and if he wants to go and play football, you know, I'm all for it, as long as we have adequate replacements. The idea of Conor Bradley, who is an unproven yet talented youngster, and Joe Gomez, who, you know, let's hope we can just keep him back fit for centre back, that doesn't fill me full of confidence, having just them two as options. But Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, at a pinch, could play right wing back. Think they will sell the Ox, said Mario. No, not in this window. The plan is for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain to stay. From everything that I've read, is that he'll stay. Prime Torres or Prime Suarez? Suarez. I believe Arsenal are looking to sign Franny Jeffers. Young Franny Jeffers as well, mate. Young, up-and-coming Francis Jeffers. The Kumi Minamino swap for Jude. I mean, I would imagine there would have to be a whole truckload of money along with that. But the situation with Kumi Minamino is interesting because none of us know if he'll be back at Liverpool, if Ralph Hasenhüttl and Southampton will make an offer to take him permanently, or if he would end up in Germany or Spain. So let's just keep an eye on the situation. I mean, I'm sure he'll report for pre-season training with Liverpool, but after that, I honestly don't know. Can Harvey Elliott become the next Michael Owen or Rooney? Well, no, because he's not a fucking striker. He's a wide player. So, again, no, because it's not comparing apples and apples, it's apples and oranges. Can he be an absolutely super player? 100%. Do I think that he'll make a big impact at Liverpool in the coming years? Yes, I really do, but he's not a striker, dude. What's your other job? I don't have another job. Anybody that watches this channel knows I live on disability allowance. I don't take away from Anfield Agenda. I never have, and I never will until it's registered and it's a business and I do everything correctly with the social welfare and stuff, but we're not at that level yet, so I can't do it. Therefore, Connor takes a wage, I don't. That's the way it is. And that's the way it's always been, and I've been very open about it. I don't have a job. I have a disability, mate. Well, to say I have a disability, I mean, I've got Asperger's and generalised anxiety disorder, which does, of course, impact my life. But to say I have a disability, people will probably think of a physical disability, which I don't want people to think I have, because, of course, I don't. Anywho, my nan's got bunions. Welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, buddy. The newest member to the Anfield Agenda family. Great to have you with us. Don't forget to check out the Discord group. Is there anyone who deserves to make a living off YouTube? It's you. Your comedy gold on this. Even the rants are golden. Thank you, Peter. And look, I'm close. I'm really close to getting to a point where I think it could become a viable business. So, you know, I'll keep watch this space, and hopefully, you know, a few things in the works. Let's just put it that way. And I'm hoping, but I have to earn it like anybody else. I don't feel like I have any God-given right to earn a living from this. And I look after my son as well. Yes, Dave, I do. I've got an autistic son who, of course, myself and my wife do look after. Am I rich? No, motherfucker. I live in a council house. I drive a 4-year-old Renault. I'm far from rich, dude. That's why I'm doing this in my living room. Do you know what I mean? Right, Craig, would you take Damsgaard? Honestly, other than seeing him in the Euros, I don't know too much about the lad, so it would be kind of match of the day fever for me answering that one. Think we should have kept Hoover? Definitely, Bob. Definitely. At the time, I was very happy to bring in Diogo Jota, but it was a strange one because Keanu Hoover was rated so highly. And yes, I would have liked to have still had him as an option now. If we had Keanu Hoover and we were looking at maybe Nico Williams moving on, I wouldn't be anywhere near as stressed. Keep at it, Craig. Your dream will come true. Thank you, dude. I honestly don't think we're too far away. I mean, obviously stuff on That's Football, and I could be on That's Football permanently next season. We're talking about that. When I say permanently, sorry, I don't mean I'll be giving up Anfield Agenda. I won't. But we are in talks about me taking up a more regular role on That's Football over the course of the Premier League season. So we'll see how that goes. You know, I take all this stuff with a pinch of salt. I just want to have fun. That's the most important thing for me. Getting on here, chatting to you guys and having a laugh is far more important than any of this to me, because it makes me smile and it makes me happy. Yuri Tielemans. Again, it's put him in the yes, I would take him, but no, I don't think we're going to actually sign him pile, unfortunately. But look, no problems with him as a footballer, very talented. Dumfries is having a great tournament, and myself and Mark were talking about this earlier on. I don't think Dumfries will be at PSV Eindhoven much longer. You know, the Netherlands got knocked out today, so maybe transfer speculation on him will start moving on the up and up very soon. Let's go, Craig, said Jadon Sancho. Let's go, Craig, go, boom, 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 boom. I don't know why I started singing that, mate, sorry. Indeedy, we don't need another holding midfielder, mate. We do have Fabinho. And look, if we needed another holding midfielder, I still say why not give Marco Grujic a chance to learn under the tutelage of Fabinho at Liverpool. I'll never understand why we didn't give him a fair crack of the whip. Hello, Craig. I'm just in. Sorry, good job. No problem, buddy. Thank you for coming in, Mr. Bugsy. Great to have you with us. Right, Coman bit. People are just in and they just asked. No problem. Happy to go over it again for you guys. So, this is the latest that we know on Kingsley Coman. You guys have been saying to me, Craig, what's the story on Coman? And I've honestly said to you, I've seen the links, but I don't know if there's any truth to it. Well, Florian Plettenberg today came out and said, update on Coman, yes, Liverpool are definitely interested in signing him and they're in contact with his management. The tweet goes on to say, but right now it's not a hot topic. Bayern Munich still want him to extend this deal, particularly Julian Nagelsmann, who's obviously coming in to replace Hansi Flick as the manager of Bayern Munich. And then it goes on to say that Kingsley Coman's father is trying to force the departure to England. So that's all I know. I won't lie to you, but if the 30 million price tag is correct, it will be a good signing as long as it's not at the expense of another one of our top class proven players. Would I give Naby Keita another chance? Honestly, Tom, no. And I'm somebody who has always stood up and backed Naby Keita, but I said he took so long out to get it right this season with injuries. The club gave him extra time. They worked really hard in it. They looked into everything that were causing these injuries, and he couldn't even finish out the season without picking up another knock. So unfortunately, I would sell, but I don't think we will sell because I don't think we get anywhere near what the club would want for him after the disappointing season he's had. So unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, I mean, I'd be more than happy if Naby Keita came out this season and had a cracking season. I mean, I'd be happy with that because I like Naby. Hi Craig, are you fall? I think you meant to say tall, in which case no, I'm not. I'm 5'10", pretty bang average. Haaland or Mbappe? I would rather Mbappe, although I'm sure a lot of our chat would much rather Erling Haaland. I'm a pacey winger fan. I just love pacey wingers. Thanks for being so open about your struggles and your flaws, bless you. I think it's the only way to be. I mean, yeah, I'll get mocked for it occasionally, but I couldn't give a shit. If anything that we talk about helps even one person to feel like that they can maybe speak to their mum or their dad or their brother or their teacher or a doctor and helps them to go feel like they can open up and talk, brilliant, job done, happy. Because we need to talk about it more. And one thing I'll always say is your generation, the younger generation, much better at this. Brilliant. I mean, so many young people open about their mental health struggles or issues, and it's great to see because, as I like to say, you know, we all need help from time to time, and there's nothing embarrassing about asking for a bit of a hand up or asking for a bit of help. We all need it. I'm not ashamed of it, never will be. Particularly after the shit show that has been my life, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if I was to, go off and tell you everything that's happened in my life, you'd understand maybe why I need to get me noggin fixed from time to time. I've just done the Coman stuff again, Jake. Sorry, mate. I've just literally gone over it, so maybe just, wait for the stream to be over and have a little look back. Craig, you got your Liverpool supporters clubs in South Africa. Yes, and I really do want to go over and visit the Reds in South Africa. I've made friends with so many lovely South African Reds over the years. I've already answered the Damsgaard stuff, Brynjar, and you're going to get booted out of the chat, mate. We don't take spamming very, very kindly. Put your comment in by all means, but I can see it there 3 times in the space, 4 times, yeah. You're going to get timed out, mate, very, very soon by one of our mods. Would I take Everton from Brazil? I wouldn't, but I looked the other day for Everton. So there's Everton Suarez, I think, and then the keeper was called Neverton or Weverton or something. I was just thinking, Jesus, this is the first time there'll be a W before Everton's name ever. With Sancho going to United, Liverpool need to start doing something. Jacob, I agree. I agree with you, man. You're not going to get much of an argument from me. I'm just worried about the Salah situation personally. And to hear that there isn't even plans or there isn't even a hint that there could be contract talks with him at the minute, that worries me. That really, really worries me. And then you've got the Olympic stuff as well, which could easily be used as a way to force a wedge between him and the club if Mohamed Salah really doubles down on wanting to go and play in the Olympics, which of course Liverpool don't want their players going to. Big up, love you, said Ruby Rowe. Thank you. Big up and love you guys too. I'm good, thank you, Gavin. I'm really good today, mate. I'm a little bit tired, but I'm good. Would you swap him? Would you take Mbappe for Salah? Yes, I would. I wouldn't want Salah to leave, but if the offer was put on the table now when we heard that Salah was wanting to move on, yeah, I think that would be a pretty good replacement, both in age and in ability. Although I still say what I'll always say, I'd like Mohamed Salah to be put through the centre and to be an out-and-out forward and bring in another pacey young winger, maybe give Harvey Elliott an opportunity, Kingsley Coman as an example, Rafinha as we've spoken about before, there's Pedro Neto who I like as well. There's no shortage of good talent out there right now. Will Matip make a move? No. He signed a new contract last year. Could have left on a free, so you always got to give Joel Matip credit on that one. And when Joel Matip is fit and Joel Matip is available, he's a very fine centre-back. Loads of great attributes to his game. Can carry the ball forward, very good aerially, can pick out a pass. There's lots to like about Joel Matip, there really is. Would I take Gravenberch? Yes, but I don't... Well, yes, I would take Ryan Gravenberch, yes. The club should stop disrespecting Salah, so loyal, said Carrie Bonner. Genuinely boils my blood to hear that there's no plans as of yet to sit down and talk with him, because in a summer where we've lost somebody who we should have never lost in Gini Wijnaldum, somebody who was only asking for a fair wage and somebody who has been an integral part of our success under Jurgen Klopp, somebody who's always fit and available, to hear that he wasn't offered a 3-year deal when that's what he wanted and he was offered a 2-year deal, it's unacceptable as far as I'm concerned. It's ridiculous. And now he's off playing for Paris Saint-Germain, so yeah, that's a kick in the nuts. Karius or Adrian? Me. There you go. We've already done the Schick stuff. Devon, I think no, I don't think Schick is good enough for Liverpool. Wijnaldum transfer is sad. It really is. I mean, I'll never understand the rationale behind it. Never. Salah gets us top 4. Salah got us top 4, said Dave Smith. Absolutely. Mohamed Salah is a big game player. Mohamed Salah is a superstar. Mohamed Salah has done so much for this football club. Just give the man a contract. Give him a contract. Give him what he wants. If he wants 300 grand a week, give Mohamed Salah 300 grand a week. Ronaldo has the sentence Klopp type signing on his forehead. Oh, he definitely does, Reza. Definitely does. I mean, I couldn't agree with you anymore, my man. Absolutely nailed on type Jurgen Klopp signing, isn't it? What have we got? Dr. Jones. How are we? Dr. Jones. Calling Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones. Wake up. No, wake up now. Sorry, the pitch change there was a bit awkward. You retracted your super chat, dude, but welcome in. I hope you're well. Would I take Coman and Cash for Shaqiri and Divock? Well, yeah, of course I would. But do you honestly think that Bayern Munich are sitting there now, having already gotten rid of Shaqiri once, thinking, do you know what we need? Lewandowski's finishing up soon. Big Divock. That's the man to fill Robert Lewandowski's shoes. Get Big Divock in here. No. I mean, of course I would, yes. But it looks like Shaqiri could be on his way to... Who was it? It was Italy. It was Lazio. And, you know, I think that would be a good move for Shaqiri. I really do. I think playing with Lazio would suit Shaqiri. Do I think Canade will be good? Very good, Alfie. I mean, 36 million, I think we'll look back at this as another very astute piece of business by Liverpool. If you look into Canade's past coaches and stuff that have worked with him, they say that he's always open to learning. He doesn't really make the same mistake twice. And I think it'll be a brilliant piece of business by the football club. I really do. Cheers from El Paso, Texas. Jonathan, lots of love over to El Paso, Texas, mate. I definitely want to go visit your fine state very soon. Texas is on my high up my wish list of places to visit. Do I think I've done that one? Craig, how do you keep up with the chat? Bit by bit, mate. I just go through as many as I can, to be honest with you. I have my things that I want to get out and say that I've researched or whatever, but usually the questions in the chat lead me to the things I want to talk about anyway. So it's a very interactive show, and you know, without you guys there wouldn't be a show. So thank you again for coming in. Lewandowski is loads better than Origi. Oh, yeah, yes, Dave. Loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads. 1-0 to Brazil. Thank you. Who scored? Ian with the update. Give us a little update there, buddy. Craig, you should visit Carragher's in New York. It's brilliant. It looks great. I've seen it, Josh, but I don't think I'll ever visit New York, mate. It's it's too busy for me. It's too packed. You know, it's too condensed as a city. I'd be scared shitless going around New York. Not because I'd feel like anybody would hurt me. I mean, just because there's so many people. I just don't do well in crowds like that. Salah will go to Barca if his contract runs out. I don't think we'll let his contract run out, Shay. I mean, worst case scenario, if it ran down a year, sell him at the end of the year. But God, I don't even want to be having that conversation, dude. I want to be talking about us giving Mohamed Salah what he deserves, which is a new deal. FSG should give the 538 million they made to Salah, to Carrie Bonner. Yeah, that's going to be used mainly. There was talk that some of it will be used to offset the losses faced during COVID, but Also, they want to buy up more sports clubs. There's talk about an NHL team. There's talk about maybe buying another football club somewhere in Europe and going to kind of the Red Bull model. Met Luis Garcia there. He's a lovely guy, isn't he? I've been lucky enough to meet Luis Garcia as well. Josh, and he's a very, very nice guy. Jordan, personal, thank you so much for the super sticker. Oh, I'm still shocked that people send in super chats and super stickers. It always blows my mind. But what I will say is, one, thank you, very kind of you. But for the same $4.99, you get a month's membership, which means you get into our Discord group, you get use of all the Anfield Agenda emojis, you'll get the badge beside your name, which changes colour, and you'll also get your name appears in green to mean other members, which makes it easier to spot your comments and stuff. So thank you, buddy, but you know, I like to try and give people value for their money, so you know, next time I would suggest becoming a member. Love from Limerick, thank you, dude, appreciate that. Beautiful part of Ireland. Ball, I keep thinking that's Kate because they have the same icon. Do you think we should sign Coman? And I don't think we should, because he's a left mid, and we play a formation with wingers. Well, look, one thing I will say is usually the players Klopp signs, he likes to look at in a few different positions. So Coman, winger, midfielder, wing back perhaps. So you could see why Klopp would look at him and go, okay, we can probably, he's a fairly versatile player. And at 30 million quid, look, it wouldn't be terrible business at all, would it? Yes, a couple of injuries along the way, but people have seemed to say in the chat that he's been rather unlucky with his injuries. Coman is minimum 100 million if Grealish is 100 million. Well, that's not the way the world works, mate, because you're forgetting that Grealish is, you know, you pay that English premium, don't you, for Grealish. Salah is not going to leave. I hope so. I really do. And spending on stadium expansion, said Brian. Yes, of course, we are doing the Any Road End, an extra 7,000 seats there, which is great, and work on that will begin shortly, I believe. Millionaire equals being noticed by Craig. Oh man, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you guys giving up some of your evening to come in. Who scored the goal, by the way, for Brazil? Anybody able to tell me that in the chat? I don't like to look at my phone when I'm doing streams unless I'm reading something, you know, about a player or a news story. I think Harry Wilson would be a decent backup compared to Shaqiri. I just don't think Harry Wilson's good enough. I really don't. He's so hit and miss. And look, I think Liverpool will sell Harry Wilson. I think it's only fair to him as well that he finally gets a permanent move where he can put down roots and start to map out his career. Militao scored, thank you. So it wasn't Bobby Firmino or Gabby goal. What will be your starting lineup for next season? It's really difficult to know because Klopp does like... You mean, initially you want to see the new shiny players, don't you? So you want to see Canade in there. But at the same time, we do know that Klopp has a history of making sure players are fully ready to go before putting them in. So I would imagine if Joe Gomez can prove his fitness and Van Dijk can prove his fitness, that we'd start with like Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, Gomez, Robbo, Fabinho, Thiago, probably Jordan Henderson, and then 3 of the 4 up front. I don't know who he'd play and who he'd drop, or I don't know if maybe he would put Bobby into the more into the hole in between the midfield and the attack to link up play, and maybe Hendo wouldn't get a game, or Thiago, I don't know, but that's what I think will be the most likely thing. Shaib said, didn't the bid get rejected? What bid is this, mate? I'm not trying to be rude, buddy. I'm not sure what you're talking about, because I don't think we've bid on anyone that I'm aware of. Who would be your replacement for Bobby? I think Daniel Mallon is a very good shout as a replacement for Bobby Firmino. But by that I mean bring him in, give him a year working with Bobby in the team, and then maybe as Bobby gets another year older, he moves on elsewhere, maybe to a slower paced league or something. My nan's got Bunyan said Coman. We didn't put in a bid for Kingsley Coman. There's no bid gone in yet. There's talk that we're interested, and we're talking with his management team or his representatives, but certainly from my knowledge there's no actual bid gone in. The bid's usually the last thing in the process, to be honest. You make sure that the agent, one, that the player be open to coming to your club. You don't want to go full on Spurs here and having to go through 6, 7, 8 candidates, so the bid's usually right at the end of the process. Next big Liverpool transfer, don't know. Be lying if I told you. We haven't bid for Coman yet. There's interest, but there's no bid gone in. Malin worth 10 million max. Yeah, I'm going to say you're wrong on that. I'm going to say you're very wrong. You've got Dortmund looking at the guy and a few other top clubs around Europe, and Dortmund very rarely get it wrong with the type of talent they look at. So I think Daniel Malin's certainly worth a lot more than 10 million quid. The Coman bid rejected, 30 mil. Didn't happen. Sorry. No bid went in. So, again, that's just some little clown probably on Twitter who's pretending that they know all the information, but there's no bid gone in for Kingsley Coman. Now, I'm not saying we're not interested. I'm just saying that there's definitely I've pretty reliable sources on some things like this that I can, certainly they wouldn't give me all their information, but a simple yes or no question like that, I'd be fairly certain there's no bid gone in yet. What's your Discord? You won't be able to get into it, mate, because you're not a member. So it's only for members of the channel, Jordan. And again, buddy, you've put in another super chat there where you could have become a member and joined. The Discord is only available for members, mate. So again, you should have just became a member, dude. Right, what else we got? I do not think Kingsley Coman is not that good. So you don't think that he's not that good, which means you think that he's good? I'm confused, mate. I think you put in one not too many there. I think he'd be good value. Even at a little bit more than 30 million. Even at, say, 35 million, I think he'd be good value. What else is there? If we want someone to replace Bobby in the long term, I prefer Isaac over Malin. Yeah, except the difference there would be you'd get Malin for about... And I'm not saying this is right or wrong, by the way, Reza. I'm just, giving you the facts. You get Malin for about 25 million, whereas Isaac has a buyout clause of 70 million euro, and Sociedad wanted to increase that before he went away with Sweden, which of course they didn't get a chance to, but that's his buyout clause right now, so Sociedad wouldn't sell, I don't think, if they didn't get fairly close to that, and I don't think that, our owners, mate, I don't think that they're going to pony up that kind of dough. Love what you're doing on That's Football, said Blue Jay Gaming, thank you. Trying to add my own bit of dry wit into it, let's just say. And I'll be back on there tomorrow as well at 5 o'clock, 4:30, sorry, for the Spain-Croatia game. Right, look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go off into the night and watch the second half of the Brazil game. So thank you to everybody for coming in. Again, I'll be back on here tomorrow night at about 10 p.m. unless the game goes into extra time. You can catch me on That's Football with Mark Goldbridge tomorrow at 4:30 for the Spain-Croatia game. And of course, we'll be covering the Germany-England game here on Anfield Agenda, and I'll be recording a preview with Leon from Boyle Sports tomorrow. Thank you again to our sponsors, Boyle Sports. Thank you to you guys for watching. Drop a like on the video. Please do hit that subscribe button, most importantly, and keep your comments coming if you're watching this back later on. I'd love to know your thoughts on everything we spoke about today.